Hi, this is Kimberly. Please enjoy our podcast, but remember our doctors are only here to educate, not diagnose. If you have any questions or need any further information, please email me. My email address is kim@mfwellness.org. Hey, Spine Whisperers. Thanks for listening to our podcast yet again. I am here with Drs. Joshua Fink, Dr. Matt Fink, and Dr. Brad Maurer. Enjoy.
All right, we're back. Another podcast. We got interrupted the other week by this stupid virus. We wanted to talk about the 6 numbers we want our patients to know. All right, we talked about BMI. We talked about blood pressure. We talked about, what did I talk about?
Caloric intake.
Caloric intake, yeah. Numbers that you should, not be a slave to, but understand. And it's in understanding the numbers that we get the ability to wield them. It empowers us. So we want to do that again today. Pick 3 more numbers and empower people about them. And we're going to have a big fist fight about what numbers, but we've largely just left each other alone regarding this. So I'm not quite sure who's doing what.
I don't know either.
All right. Hopefully we don't all have the same thing. You know what I mean?
I'm
we just
surprised.
take turns yelling about the exact same thing.
Now, meow.
Who wants to go first, I guess?
I can.
Oh, all right. Hopefully. Let's find out what Dr. Matt's number is.
We're going to talk about target heart rate.
Oh, TRH, Kim.
That's mine.
Oh, my gosh. I knew it.
No, just kidding.
Oh.
I thought it was. I even knew what he's talking about. I thought it was.
I don't either.
He got
It's a
it?
mystery. He's even got his paper close to his chest. He's got it faced up so we don't
Kim.
see it.
You should have seen Kim's face. She was all.
So let's talk about how to monitor your heart rate.
Okay.
We all have these super awesome watches, or we have Fitbits that we wear, and you can really look at your heart rate during the time that you're exercising
Yeah.
to get it to where the point. Now, Dr. Josh has always said, hey, you want to make sure that you're either sweating or out of breath.
That's right.
That's how you get good exercise. Well,
That's right.
that is absolutely accurate, but a more accurate way to do that is to set your watch or your Fitbit to say, hey, I want to make sure that I'm going to hit this target heart rate during this exercise. Keep me aware of my progress. And it will buzz or vibrate when you hit that heart rate, and it will continue to do so while you're doing that.
Right.
So
Right,
for maximum performance, maximum heart rate, it's level 5 and level 4. It's about 90 to 100%. And you really only want to do
How do they
that.
find their max?
So we're going to talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just going through we're going to talk about
I got it. I'm with
5
you.
things first. Okay.
You think
And
it's funny,
so-
Kim? You must be talking about something really interesting because she looked up from her phone.
Yeah, it must be. Meow.
Amazing.
Are you going to say something, Kim?
for this podcast.
Oh my gosh.
While we're doing the podcast. That's how committed
fantastic.
Kim is.
Committed.
She's so committed.
committed to excellence.
Yeah.
Continue.
90 to 100% of your maximum or your target heart rate that you want to make sure you're not doing that for too long. Probably 5 minutes and less.
Of like a
That's maximum.
30-minute workout or a 60-minute
No,
workout? or
just 5 minutes.
Total.
Yeah, 5
Okay,
minutes
I
total.
understand. No, I
now,
got you.
as we move down to levels 3, 2, 1, and they get significantly less intense.
Okay.
So, Dr. Josh was asking about, well, how do we find our target heart rate?
Yeah.
You take 220
220.
minus your age.
The standard. I thought there was a different and funner way. More fun.
No.
There is some more complicated, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
the
that's-
easiest to remember. Yeah.
So, and you can really, or you could put it, there is a site, YWCA Saskatoon.
I love it.
You put in your ingredients for your heart rate, and it tells you what kind of exercise you want to do.
Oh, that's
Tells
cool.
you, so the reason
Now,
you
the
Do you think we have anybody listening from
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon?
I hope
I
so.
don't know, let's just
On
keep saying
our
Saskatoon.
on our demographics, we have a lot of Canadians that listen in, a lot, but it doesn't break them down by province. So I'm looking for those Manitobans to start calling in,
Yeah,
so we can go there and do a on-site
Manitoban podcast.
Yeah, or Quebec, and then we could go there fish for their northern pike, which are just incredible.
So, the reason why we're talking about a target heart rate is because when you're exercising, we want you to get the most out of the exercise that you're doing. And whether it's light, whether it's just for weight loss, whether it's just for exercise, if you're walking but you're not breaking a sweat and you're not hitting your target heart rate,
Yeah,
you're
it's great,
wasting
but
you're
right,
wasting your time.
right. Like, good
You're
job.
enjoying
but,
the
like,
scenery. Mentally, it's good for you, but you're not getting that cardiovascular uptake that Dr. Josh talks about all the time of 30 minutes.
Right.
So that is a very, very important number to think about.
Makes sense.
And that target heart rate is usually a certain percentage, right, of that
Yeah,
max.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what
70,
level 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, 75%. You know, if you don't happen to have
Yeah.
a watch,
Yeah.
that's
The normal,
complex.
yeah. Dr. Brad's right. So the normal target heart rate for any exercise is usually 80% of max.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I like you said, I just tell them, hey, when you're slightly out of breath, when you can't like flat out talk to somebody as long as you want, you have to go like that, take a breath, then that's when you're getting close to that target heart rate. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. That's a very good one. Like heart health, it doesn't just come. You got to pursue it. You got to chase it down. Heart health, at the end of that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's when your heart moves into that phase where it's like, oh, I got to add more cardiac muscle. And that's wonderful. That's what we want. We want exercise-driven hypertrophy, not like pressure-driven hypertrophy. So that's really good. Cool. All right, Dr. Maurer, do you want to go next or you want me to?
Yeah, I can go ahead. So I picked out a number that I feel like everybody should be interested in,
Let's do it.
and that is their age.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That's a key number.
Oh,
So, but
a rare comment from Kim.
Yeah,
You shocked her.
yeah. She put her phone down.
Oh, my God.
All
I
right.
did.
Hand on the table.
So specifically, I want to talk about chronological age versus biological age. Now, hopefully, most of you know your chronological age. So that's a number that jumps up every year on your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So
Then it goes up until you get to 40, and then it stops.
right.
Mine stopped at 30.
Oh,
You're over 30?
Nope.
You almost got her.
No, I
Yeah,
honestly
got it.
was surprised. I thought she was in her 20s.
Well, thank you.
so that's your
Yeah.
chronological age.
Uh-huh.
That's what we normally say when somebody asks us our age.
Mm-hmm.
What the other one is biological age, and there is some different ways to look at that. But really, in general, what it's determining is, even though you're reaching this different chronological age each year, how old is your body really?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some pretty complicated testing that they do, and some of the testing looks at different biomarkers. So it looks at molecular size of things, it looks at the DNA, it looks at the RNA, how it's responded to what you put your body through all these years. And they also look at different phenotype, like how your body reacts to different things, like blood pressure, grip strength. We've talked about that
Man,
before.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we have that machine.
Yeah, tells so much. And then also looks at
I get pumped up every time you talk about it. I gotta have it.
at lipids, different things from blood testing.
Yeah,
So
you-
that's one way. That can get a little expensive, if you.
We're gonna call it like the squeeze station.
Ooh, all right. You're still thinking about the dynamo.
I can't get enough. Sorry,
And-
I'll be quiet. I'm sorry.
And then there's other models. There's like mathematical models where they actually look at your chronological age. They look at your genetics,
Uh-huh.
like how quickly your body uses antioxidants to clear things out. We always talk
Oh my
about
gosh!
antioxidants.
How do they test that?
That is, I believe it's.
It's gotta be.
That
Yeah,
higher
so-
the predator.
It's got.
Yeah.
They hire a
And
predator.
it flows through your body.
They put you through a sequence of events where they scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
They hire the predator.
Wait, what's the real answer, though? How do they do that?
Oh, sorry.
Probably blood work.
Blood. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kim, have you seen the movie Predator?
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
Have you really?
Oh, you got the
Yeah.
voice.
I love how when people imitate me, my wife does this and Miss Shell does this. They assign me this ultra deep voice. And I wish my voice sounded like that. Like, my wife would be like, oh, okay. Like, and I'll be like, is that what I sound like? That's awesome. But now they've caught on and
Real
they've started
slow,
they've
yeah.
started really lightening it to get me. Like, oh, we did it. Yeah.
So yeah,
It's tough.
They look at genetics, they look at lifestyle, they look at nutrition, and they look at diseases and other conditions. That's a mathematical type model. They
Gotcha.
use. So,
Gotcha.
but the big thing is, I don't feel like any of you need to rush out and get your biological age tested. The big thing I want to talk about though is we can't do anything about your chronological age. You know, time's going to pass.
We're not
Birthday's
quite
coming.
there yet.
Yeah, we're working on it.
A couple
but
things to
we're not
work on,
there.
right?
But what we can do is to help you. And I say help because really it's up to you to actually fulfill everything we talk about. But the great thing is that we spend all our time, you know, in podcasts and videos talking about all the things you need to do to stay healthy. These are all things that are going to help bring down that biological age. And that I didn't say this, but that biological age is something that continually could potentially go up and down.
Up and down,
Based-
depending on
based
what
on
you got
your body
going. Like
goes
right
through.
now, I would say that the global average has gone way the hell up.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about stress, you know, so stress could do a lot of damage to the body as well. But everything, things we talk about like exercise, Dr. Matt was just talking about it. We talk a ton about nutrition. Basically anything you're putting into your body can affect that. Stress levels. So everything we talk about. And when it comes to that, you are the manager of your own health. But we're here to back that up.
Yep.
And also
And to like direct it.
yeah. And how healthy your spine is, of course, and your nervous system. We can help it that
Delicious.
way. So that's the big deal. I want to talk about a number that everybody might be interested in.
That's perfect.
Age.
Yeah.
And just because you've hit that 40 mark or the 50 mark or
Doesn't
60,
mean squat.
yeah. You always hear that age is just a number.
And that, like-
and it really is. you
Yeah,
know?
it is. And you're like, that's an incredibly important number because if people are like, what are you working towards for a health goal? I'm working to bring down my biological age. Okay. That's a pretty worthwhile pursuit. It encompasses all of the other things that we're talking about. So that's a really, really good one that people don't often think about. And you can get the blood work done, but there's less stringent methods for evaluating that and for lowering it. So forgot
So
over here.
this is a big thing to keep in mind because some people kind of get depressed when that chronological age
Yeah.
jumps. And this is just kind of a way to think about it differently.
Yeah, it's awesome. And there's a huge swing right now, with COVID going on. People are just the stress and the pressure that they're under. It's just incredible. I mean, how many people have lived through a pandemic? There's a couple people, but not very many. It's 1913.
I mean, but also I think a lot more people are exercising and eating better.
Do you think
because
so?
of the
I think in
pandemic.
the beginning that was true.
You don't think so?
No.
Listen, we're,
In the
we're
beginning,
5 months deep.
Yeah, in the beginning, everyone's like, "Hey, let's Zoom meet and keep each other's spirits up, and let's blah 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 blah." But
Now it's
Now
just
it's everything.
us.
that's right.
It's
Yeah, we
just
see,
us
we
helping
see
people.
1,200 people a month, and I would say, we're working hard to keep people's spirits up while we're checking their spines, but trying to help out in any way we can. I would say that most people are not handling it as well as they could. But I'm not going to judge them. It's a pandemic. No one's judging anybody here. So, my number was temperature, body temperature, because fever and the lack thereof. Holy cow! Just in this last 14 days, we have really had a lot of lively discussions with people. And with school nurses, they are under a ton of pressure. All the nurses are under a ton of pressure, and their doctors are. And elevated body temperature or not, what the symptoms mean, I want to talk about it for a little bit. So first, let's talk about the collection of this. So we can take your temperature in your ear. We can take the temperature from your skin. Or we can take a temperature from inside your body. Now, if you are a little bit older than me, that was the standard way that was done. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kim? Your eyes are real wide right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's 2 ways you could do it.
The rectum
You could do it.
in the
Whatever
mouth.
you're
That's
comfortable.
good. But what if you ate something? Or drank water? When you want to get out of school, you use the intraoral. When something's really wrong, you do the rectal. Now, the most accurate rectal thermometer. But don't tell anybody we told you that, because they're going to want to go back to that, and we don't want to do that. Incidentally,
It's on our podcast.
Incidentally,
Don't tell
if you ever pass out at soccer camp and they take you to the hospital, that's how they check your temperature. So first of all, you passed out at soccer camp. Then when you are groggy and you're waking up, somebody's taking your temperature that way.
I feel like somebody's traumatized to this day.
Can you imagine?
No, I don't
you-
want to.
Yeah, I can't. They're like, oh, you're awake. I'm like, yeah, you just have that up there. Where am I? I don't even, I guess, anyway, I probably gotta let that go. Anyway, other ways to take it, we could take it intraoral, next best way, and then oral and ear are about comparable, and then skin is actually the least reliable. Now, they're all good. They're all good. We're talking about best.
Now, what do you
best
think about
practices.
these air, the ones where you, about an inch from the forehead?
I don't like them one bit because changes in air currents, the environment that the person was going from and coming into, ambient stuff, it's just too, the more media that the temperature needs to pass through in order to get a reading, it's just ridiculous. Air's the best insulator one of the best insulators that there is. So the more air you have between you and the target temperature, I just don't like that at all. Unless you have a laser. If you have a laser, then forget it. Well, properly calibrated laser, it's over. That's the temperature. There's no question about it. But I don't think a lot of these schools have properly calibrated lasers. If they do, that's awesome. But yeah, just go out, go get your dad's, get their infrared thermometer that they use on their car parts in their garage. That's the thing. You have access to that guy, you're set, right? Or a cooking one too, right? But it just takes the temperature, the surface temperature. So you want to know that surface temperature, then that's the best bet. But man, we want to be inside there. So that's that. Now, when we talk about what is a fever and what's not, we talk about that difference between being right around 100 degrees. So if you go over 100, they start saying, okay, your body temperature is elevated, and maybe you've got a fever. If you go below 95, then we talk about hypothermia or other conditions going on. Now, depending on what medical professional you talk to, what day of the week it is, and what their caseload looks like, fever changes a lot. I've seen people dismissed from urgent cares with 103s, 103.5 actually, and I've seen people that been out of work for 4 weeks now, and they threw a 100.1. Like, it just depends on what kind of a mood that person's in, and it drives me absolutely crazy, the non-standardization. What I want our patients to understand is that if they have a way of taking their temperature, it doesn't matter what that way is, as long as they consistently apply that method. Take your temperature at the same time every single day, just so you know what it is. Take your kid's temperature at the same time every single day, just so you know what the baseline is. Those are the numbers that I want you to know. Not what temperature is when you come inside from running. You know what I mean? Or somebody scares you to death. No, I don't care about those temperatures. I care about the temperature that you run daily, because that's how you'll know how far off the norm you are. You know what I mean? Dr. Matt runs like a 96.1. He's made of ice.
97.2.
It never changes. We take them every single day here in the office. We have by now we have a 6-week long graph of daily temperatures twice a day. And Dr. Matt is like a cyborg. His temperature does not change. It's pretty wild. The rest of us, depending on, like, we just get done seeing patients who's coming from outside, the temperatures can vary wildly. What I want you guys to understand is that when your child has a 100.1, what are your kid's other symptoms? Is he lethargic? Is there rings around the eyes? Does he feel good? Is he acting weird? Does he not know about the fever at all? Snot green? Is it clear? Is there mucus coming out of the eyes? Do they have abdominal cramps? Do they go to the bathroom? These kids just got back to school. They're getting exposed to everything on earth. I need you to look at the other symptoms that your child is displaying before we go to any urgent care or emergency situation, unless it's a very significant symptom. So that school nurse calls you, or somebody calls you, they're like, hey, your kid's got a fever, it's 100.6, and you're like, okay, all right. What's he doing? How's he acting? Did he eat lunch? Did he just come in from outside? These numbers matter. Fever and temperature don't exist in a vacuum. As clinicians, we absolutely have to inspect the entire situation before making an assessment. And as parents, we need to do that too. What we don't do is feed into the hysteria and start making snap decisions. In this last 2 weeks, we have seen so many new patients here that have been rejected from urgent cares, untreated, because they did not have a fever, or because they did have a fever that didn't match the symptoms of COVID. I mean, I'm having people come in here, numb arms, chronic headache, inability to sleep, inability to digest food, and because the only thing that they get given as a recourse is to take the COVID test. Oh, you don't need the COVID test, go home. You need the COVID test, stay here. That's it. Nope, nothing's getting treated. And it's driving me up the wall. What needs to happen is we need to look at these patients, fever or not, and their other presenting symptoms. We don't just look at one number. So what do I want? I want you guys to know what your number is, and what I want you and what your kids' numbers are, and I want you to be able to talk about it. Like, oh, he usually runs this, he usually runs that. I want you to have a graph. That way, if you have to bust out a graph on somebody, this is what my child normally runs. You know, you're only 0.2 of a degree higher right now. Like, that's not, you know, you get a young man or a young woman in puberty, good luck with that temperature. So we need to know those numbers. Also, I have a secret number that I've been dying to talk about.
No.
Secret
And I know, I'm
number.
sorry, but we have to talk about it. I want to talk about heart rate variability. And I know the boys, we love this thing, and I couldn't let it go. When you exercise, how you being able to complete the exercise, that's a very big deal. How fast your heart rate comes down after you complete the exercise is an incredible measuring tool to diagnose your health. The sympathetic versus the parasympathetic nervous system, how fast you elongate the distance between your heartbeats. How fast can you do that? How fast can you recover? It's an incredible metric for health. So what I want everybody to do, go walk a mile or go slow jog a mile, whatever it takes to get your heart rate up into Dr. Matt's target heart rate. Then I want you to stop, and I want you to start taking your heartbeat, and I want you to take it. You could use the finger method. There's tons of methods. I want you to take that every single minute or every 15 seconds, depending on how close you want to know this number. And you want to see that number coming down. If you're at 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and the number is still up in the TRH, then you need to talk to us. If it's coming down ahead of that, and the faster that it comes down, the healthier your heart is. And it's not just your heart rate, it's the systems that control your heart. That's what we're talking about. The brain telling the heart, slow down, we're recovering, or whether it's not, is an incredible indicator of how adaptive and how good of a stress response. And the better your stress response, the healthier and the longer you're going to be on this planet, barring an accident or something like that.
That was a good secret number. I like that one.
Thank you. Heart rate variability. It had to be talked about.
Yeah,
but
HRV.
temperature has to be talked about because I'm tired of yelling about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then last thing we need to yell about, gaiters versus face masks. There was a study done 2 months ago, not 2 months ago, I guess it was 2 months
Is
ago.
that a gator? Are you wearing a gator?
I'm wearing a gaiter is the how do you describe it? It's the
Neck
not
thing?
mask. It's the neck thing.
Yeah, neck.
In the study, they talked about what they were trying to measure, how many droplets, respiratory droplets were emitted through a mask or through a gaiter. Now, the purpose of the study, as expressly dictated by the authors, is not to determine the quality of transmission through a gaiter or through a cotton mask. Is to determine whether or not they could measure it. All they're trying to do is figure out if they can measure this in the study. So what happens? They get 35 or 32 cotton masks, and they have one gaiter. It's made of fleece.
And only because it was laying around.
And just because it was there. They're like,
Just
let's
'cause it
throw
was
this
there.
in. So what do? They're like, oh, fleece has the highest transmission. They've got an N of 1. Absolutely cannot take any information from the study if there's one subject in the study. For peace sake. The most you can do is a case report. The most you can do. But what happens? The media gets a hold of it, they explode it, and now all these people are saying, oh, your kids can't wear gaiters. Gaiters don't work. They didn't test the different types of gaiters. They tested nothing. This is the kind of irresponsible journalism and irresponsible science and data collecting that scares me to death in our communities. People making these things, making these assumptions, it's a crock. Now, are gaiters worse than masks? I don't know. They might be. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Let's design a
Somebody
study.
research.
Right, but no, not freak out about it. Anyway, yeah, I yelled about that. I think I'm done yelling about everything. This went from really positive to really yelly and really
Your
quick.
biological age just went up.
I honestly, I just get so mad.
Tick, tick, tick.
The people deserve better from the medical community. They deserve better, and they're not getting it. We're getting patients in here that should have gotten help at an urgent care. We're getting people in here who are just straight up malpracticed, and it's just driving me up the wall. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Okay, the 6 numbers, the 7 numbers.
Yeah.
I
Hello.
have one number that I want to.
Kim.
Oh, now we're up to 8.
Is it 8675309?
Oh my gosh, Kimberly, tell us your number so that we can get mad at you.
You probably will. I don't care.
Oh, Snapdragon.
Kim, you kind of care though.
It is how many ounces of water you intake a day.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I think
All right.
everybody
Well,
needs
the
to
gold
kinda-
standard. The gold standard is half your body weight in ounces.
Yeah, but I think
That
everyone
is
needs to
absolutely
keep track of
insane,
that.
right? Has anybody in this room ever drank half their body weight in ounces? Have you really? You're so cool.
Well, it depends on the person. Yeah, but
You guys are so cool. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. If you're having 3 12-ounce waters in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, you're killing it. You're
Yeah.
killing it.
It's a lot.
3 glasses of water. I would tell people a glass of water an hour.
Yeah, it's
Glass
because
being 10 ounces.
It's meant to maintain and not to try to make up because you're like, oh, I'm gonna drink.
If you have a mask
I'm gonna
on,
drink 100
right,
ounces
right.
at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, if you got a mask
Ah.
or a gator on, then you absolutely have to hit those numbers or go higher because you're dehydrating the heck out of yourself.
Yeah, and especially with kids at school, like a lot
Oh
of the
my
people
gosh.
that are doing in school stuff,
Great one.
they don't have access to water now.
Right.
So
Right.
they have-
Oh yeah,
you
it's
have to-
ridiculous.
you have to, which is
We should talk about that in the video.
you have to bring your own water, which is fine. I get it. There's a lot of stuff going on, but kids have to have enough water. Even if they say I don't want to bring a water bottle to school, tell them no, you're bringing a water
Yeah.
bottle. That's what I would with my boys. They're like,
Pour it
"Yeah,
over
we
your
just don't
head."
want to. No, you're bringing it.
That's
it's
it.
gonna be full.
There's not a discussion.
Yep.
Dr. Maurer?
Okay, that's it.
oh,
Yeah, he gets crazy. Yeah, that's.
So 8 numbers. That's what it was.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dr. Maurer, all right. All right,
That's
so
good.
that's that.
Mhm.
All right, very good.
Our next podcast topic
Oh, yeah.
will be acupuncture
Yeah.
with Dr. Kirsten Leapley.
Nice.
And so we're
a special
taking-
guest. And then after that, another special guest.
Yeah, we're trying to. Kim's working on that one. But, so yeah.
Kim's
so,
being really mysterious. I'm not sure why.
So in the office we have, please fill out questionnaires so that Dr. Kirsten can kind of answer questions. She likes to be a little bit more prepared than we are. So
Or you can email me your question.
Kim.
or email Kim.
KIM@mfwellness.org.
Every time you say that, I want to say OMG.
Yeah. All right, very good. Okay. Really good one. We will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
And a big thank you goes out to Hug Monster Sound for somehow allowing the doctors' voices to sound even better than they already do.